They're in a tie for fourth with Los Angeles, fourth and fifth. They're 8 games out, 7 on the loss side and back of the Reds. The Mets are 42 and 38. They're in a second place tie with Montreal, but they're 8 games out and 9 on the loss side and back of the Cardinals. And during the season, in the first 2 of the 4 series these two teams will play, the Braves have won 5 of 6 from the Mets. Mookie Wilson, who is being platooned with Len Dykstra these days in center field, and none too happy about it, having an outstanding year for the Mets. He leads off for New York against Mailer, and leading off the broadcast, once again, here's Skip.
Okay, John, thank you. Wilson hitting .312, 6 homers, 22 RBIs, and he wants to be traded. Mailer's first pitch fouled away. It's 0-1. For those of you outside the Atlanta area, last night's game rained out. Mailer did start it and pitched well in the first inning, retired the Mets on 14 pitches, and he asked to come back and start today, figuring that that small amount of pitches would not hurt him. Fastball is outside. The shadows could become a factor here. The home plate area is in shadow, as you see, and the mound in bright sunshine. Boy, they had a wild one at Wrigley Field today from all reports. 1-2 is the count to Mookie. Andre Dawson taken to Northwestern Hospital after being hit in the face. Pitched by Eric Show, who had surrendered 3 home runs in the first 3 innings, one of them to Dawson. Fastball up and in, 2-2. He had hit his 24th homer in the first inning, suffered a lacerated lip, swollen jaw. Fastball hit hard but foul. Shaw was escorted from the field, taken out of the game when players from both teams swarmed onto the field after the incident. They tell me Rick Sutcliffe was about to tear him limb from limb. And then once Dawson regained his faculties, he started after Shaw as well. Well hit right field. Murphy battles the sun and has it 1 out. Wilson hit it hard but out. And then in the next half inning, Greg Maddux flunked the Padre with a pitch, and he and Gene Michael were ejected. 6 people in all thrown out. The Cubs won the game.
It's automatic to eject the next guy. I don't know if I kind of like that rule. I think it's probably
a perfect example of why it's not a good rule, apparently. He gave up home runs to Dave Martinez, his 3rd. Dawson is 24th, and I'm trying to think, was it Noches, the second baseman?
Paul Noche?
Yeah, I think it was, like his 1st or 2nd. A strike to Wally Backman, who doesn't like, from published reports, Darryl Strawberry. It's sort of like a soap opera. Almost everybody who comes up here, you've read something negative about him. Fouled away. It's 0-2, and Darryl apparently thinks he's a redneck, so...
In the blanks, just in the blanks, you can take out the names of Jackson and Martin and the late Thurman Munson and just slip in these names. That's really what's happening.
There are 6 writers with the Mets on this road trip. Fast strike right through there. Backman knew it. Mailer challenged him with a fastball, 2 down. Here's Keith Hernandez hitting .296, 10 homers, 38 RBI.
When Mailer is pitching well, and he has been of late, he's throwing the fastball a lot more. If he gets out ahead, then he can come in with his slow curves, and he has a variety of them. But it's important that he throws the fastball in good locations for strikes.
All I know is I watched part of that game and unfortunately turned it off too early. But Eric Shaw had great control all day. And all of a sudden, one rides up and hits Dawson in the face after 3 home runs had been hit. You sort of...
Yeah, I don't like that tradition. I know it's a tradition to pitch inside. That's okay. Drive hitters off the plate after being hit for home runs. But deliberately hitting a guy...
If he did.
If he did. Okay. But you see it so often where someone hits a home run, someone hits another home run, and then a guy comes up and gets hit. And he didn't do anything wrong. Carney Lansford got hit last week, and he said, hey, it's McGuire and Canseco hitting the home runs.
Bounces the curveball up there. It's 1-1. 2 out, nobody aboard. Top of the 1st. Another game to follow. If you're in the area within a couple hundred miles, drive on over. We're going to be here a while tonight. A beautiful night for baseball at the moment. Let up is outside. 2 balls and a strike. That's foul, past first. And we're even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They play Hernandez just about straight away in the outfield. James maybe shaded a step into right center. He just got a piece of the curveball. It stays 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Walt Disney World Series is history. We want to thank the Disney people for putting on their show. And a 2-2. Here it is. A little looper, broken bat, 1 hopper. Inning over, and Mailer breezes through the first in 1-2-3 fashion. Hernandez bounces to short. No hits, no runs, no errors, and logically enough, nobody left. And he's ready to face James. He's out of Selma, Alabama. A little bit low, 1 ball, no strikes. He's got that sidearm crossfire delivery, and the key to his success. He's tough on right-hand hitters. If he gets hurt, it's normally by the lefties. That's line, left field, base hit. So James gets it off to a good start for Atlanta. And Andres Thomas is the batter. Thomas hitting .239, 4 homers, 24 runs driven in.
I did Ralph Kiner on the radio leadoff man, and I'm kind of kidding about how can anyone figure out baseball when Ron Darling has not won in 2.5 months, and Terry Leach, who was cut by the Braves twice, for example, is 7-0. And I said, well, Leach can't be doing it with mirrors, and Kiner said, oh, yes, he is.
Well, he's getting them out. That's all that's important. Fastball is in there for a strike, 0-1.
No, he spoke of his good things, that he does keep the ball down, and he is tough on right-hand hitters with that motion. And against lefties, he has a little bit better curveball to throw against the left-hand hitters, although James had a base hit to lead off the game.
Count evens at 1-1. Gerald Perry is on deck. Russ Nixon coaching at third. Will Stargell at first for Atlanta. High chop off the plate. It'll move the runner to second. Thomas is out at first. No sacrifice, of course. Runner at second with 1 out. And Gerald Perry, the batter. Perry at .250 with 4 homers. He's driven in 35 runs. Dale Murphy, who was deprived of a home run last night, waits on deck. Jack Clark also deprived of a home run last night because of the rain. That's a terribly unfair rule. If baseball is going to maintain that rule, what they're also saying is if you break your ankle in the first inning of a game that's rained out, your ankle will automatically cure and your career will continue. And of course, that's ludicrous, and so is this rule. It is, in fact, stupid.
Boy, am I glad to hear you say that. I just was saying that on the leadoff man, talking with Ralph about what happened last night. I don't know why baseball just doesn't suspend games and then pick it up from that point and count all records. That's really the only sport that does not do that.
It's ludicrous. And they've had years, and everybody in baseball admits it, but nobody does anything about it. He got that pitch up. 1 ball, no strikes. You see the shadows are creeping toward that mound. And the lights are not on here, I don't think. Well hit, but foul. Before the night is over, we're going to have a pretty good crowd. 20,000 or so, it would appear. And there will be a lot of Mets fans here. Barring extra innings, 104 more outs remaining in the night's activity. That caught the corner, and Gerald is in the hole, 1-2. And when we say that about that rule, I'm not talking specifically about Dale Murphy, who was hurt in this instance. A lot of players have been hurt for a lot of years, both pitchers and hitter. If you do it in a major league game, it's got to count, I would think. The 1-2 pitch. Here it is. Boy, he came underhanded that time. It's 2-2. It will be Ron Darling against Randy O'Neill in game 2 of this twin bill. The 2-2 pitch. Hit hard. Howard Johnson knocks it down, picks it up, throws him out. 2 down. Perry hit it hard, but out. 2 away. Here's Dale Murphy, hitting .305 with 24 homers and 53 runs driven in. Cubs beat the Padres 7-5. It was Noche who hit that 3rd home run off Eric Shaw, who was the loser. Scott Sanderson in relief got the win. Kruk and Templeton homered for the Padres. Murphy with a runner at second, 2 out. Low and inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Tonight, Philadelphia at Cincinnati, San Francisco at Pittsburgh. The Dodgers play 2 at St. Louis, and Montreal is at Houston. I think the Cardinals have back-to-back doubleheaders on the agenda. Murphy waits. Inside, 2-0. Ken Griffey will be next. The American League schedule has Texas at Toronto, the White Sox at Baltimore, Kansas City at Cleveland. Minnesota plays the Yankees in New York. Joe Niekro will pitch against Tommy John. That could be a very interesting night. The 2-0. Inside, same spot. 3 balls, no strike. And yes, he does have the hit privilege, we would guess. Boston at California, Detroit at Oakland, Milwaukee at Seattle much later tonight. The 3-0 to Murph. On the outside corner, he made a good pitch. He had come in on him 3 straight times, threw the fastball over the outside edge. So it's 3-1 on Murphy. Leach has a natural sinker, it appears. Broken bat roller to Santana. He should throw him out. He does, and the inning is over. So the Braves.
This telecast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Atlanta National League Baseball Club and intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of, the Atlanta National League Baseball Club is prohibited.
Nicely done, John. Gary Carter will lead off the 2nd inning, having a bit of a struggle this year. He's hitting .245 with 11 homers and 41 runs driven in. The sound you hear is another disclaimer being shredded. He got away with a pitch up in the strike zone. 0-1. That was not a political statement. I just shredded the disclaimer. It's got nothing to do with anybody's testimony anyway.
Oh, by the way, thank you, Fawn, for dropping by.
I wish. I wish I hadn't said that. The 0-1 pitch, here it is. A little outside. A ball and a strike to count. The night mayor of Roswell, Glenn Diamond, our producer tonight. Thomas Lapsley Smith is our director. Up the middle. Hubbard had him played over that way, but Carter got it through, and he's aboard with the first Met hit. And here's Darryl Strawberry, who, despite all the hoopla and the missed games and the arguments with his manager and his teammates, has 20 homers and 48 RBIs and a .265 batting average. Both the Braves and the Mets end the first half of their season tonight and start the second half tonight in game 2. Caught the corner, 0-2. Corporal Skip Moats from the Dania, Florida Police Department is here at the game tonight. That didn't miss by much. A ball and 2 strikes. Bob Horner is here at the ballpark. This Bob Horner is with a landscape company in West Palm Beach, Florida. Has probably never been to Japan. 1-2 the count. Moved him off the plate. It's 2-2. Wayne and Cheryl Ball are here from Dublin, Virginia. Boy, he really is mad at his teammates. He's trying to nail that one into the dugout. It just missed. No, that was an accident, folks. 2-2. The Salts and Porters are here from Randolph, Vermont, where they watch Braves baseball on the cable. Strawberry laid off. Mailer wanted that one. The count goes full, 3-2. Double play ball, maybe. Thomas steps on the bag and gets it. Andres Thomas ranged nicely to his left. Once he got to the ball, it was history. 2 down.
Well, he's really as smooth as silk. And a good break on the ball made it really kind of an easy double play once he gloved it. Andres flashing toward the bag. Now it's a double play. He's so quick as he comes across and gets rid of it so quickly.
Somebody ought to interview Kevin McReynolds about all this. Kevin stands in there. He's one of the quietest guys in the world out of the University of Arkansas. Got traded into this cauldron. I bet he's wondering, what have I gotten into? 1 ball, no strikes.
And last year was kind of rocky with San Diego, too. They had a bunch of controversy, but nothing like goes on in New York.
Two balls, no strikes to count. McReynolds at 279, 14 and 42. That must have been high. That looked like a perfect pitch. 3-0. On the corner, looked like he threw him a slider. It's 3-1. 2 out, nobody aboard. We are scoreless in the top of the second in game 1. John Sterling, Skip Carey, will you? Mailer is noticeably upset with Jerry Crawford, and that is very unlike him. He almost never says anything. Runner at first with 2 out, and here's Howard Johnson, who has had some defensive problems this year, and who popped off early saying, if they just leave me alone at third base, I'll hit him 25 home runs. Turns out he's right. He has 16 homers already and 45 RBIs, and it trails only Strawberry in tonight's lineup in the RBI department. A let-up breaking ball at the knees, 0-1. McReynolds slightly better than average speed. He could be doing some running, but probably not. The Braves thought he'd be going, and they turned out to be wrong, at least on that pitch. 1-1 is the count. Dave Cleland from Columbus, Indiana, Tim Cleland from Muncie, Tom Workman from Palm Springs, Florida, and Dwayne Laird from Shelbyville, Indiana, on a tour of 6 National League parks in 7 days. Here tonight, fly ball, center field, should end the inning unless the sun is a problem for Deion James, and it is not. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and 1 left. We've played an inning and a half in Atlanta, including the Braves and the Cubs, and in fact the Mets, who released him once. Griffey at 304, 10 homers. He's driven in 40 runs. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Missed the inside corner. 2 balls, no strikes. Ron Darling and Randy O'Neill in game 2 here. He called that a strike at the knees on the outside corner, 2-1. Thinking about getting an over and under going on midnight tonight. What do you think? The 2-1 missed low and away. 3 balls and a strike. On a scoreboard, it shows us how Ken did against the Cardinals so far this year. They are playing 600 miles from here, however. Fly ball left field. McReynolds in his tracks. 1 out. Griffey is retired, and Greg Nettles the batter. Nettles hitting .215, 4 homers, 22 runs driven in. He's driven in 22 runs and 107 at-bats. Leach wheels and deals. I'm sure as Nettles watches this guy pitch, he thinks of Dan Quisenberry, who he battled against in the American League for many years. Their deliveries are somewhat similar. A mile high, but not very deep. McReynolds comes on. And there are 2 out. Bruce Benedict, the batter. He's hitting at .136 with a homer and 5 runs driven in very limited playing time. And just became a proud papa again the other day. A baby boy, 10 pounds plus. Glenn Hubbard waits on deck. Up and in, pops away from Carter. 1 ball, no strikes. Leach and Benedict battery mates in the minor leagues. Off and on for a few years. Two balls, no strikes. After the long night of baseball is over, an Alan Ladd movie here on CBS. At the knees, 2-1. The Deep Six. Alan Ladd, William Bendix, James Whitmore, and Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. Two balls, 2 strikes.
That was kind of the euphemistic term, Deep Six, wasn't it? A few years back in another political controversy for shredding.
Was it?
Had a Deep Six papers off the bridge, kind of.
I don't remember that.
I think that's what Deep Six means. Well, anyway, we'll see on that movie.
This movie was named in 1958. 3-2. This one is about a Quaker naval lieutenant fighting to win the respect of his men. I certainly hope it worked out for him. You can't promote enough. We got about 6 hours till that comes up. Into the Mets box. And out. And another payoff pitch due, Bruce Benedict. And here it is. Still 3-2. Dave Johnson, Lee Mazzilli look on. Sunflower seeds are now the vogue in Major League dugouts, sort of replacing chewing tobacco. It's still 3-2 on Benedict, who has shown a propensity toward foul balls down the left side here. Again, Leach deals, and he worked him for the walk. Benedict at first with 2 outs, probably won't be trying to steal second. Although the element of surprise would definitely be on his side. Here's Hubbard. Glenn at 297, 4 homers, 28 runs driven in. One ball, no strikes. Pitcher Rick Mailer on deck. We're scoreless in the bottom of the second. Almost hit him. 2 balls, no strikes. All of a sudden, Leach with some control problems, and that's unusual. In 69 innings, he had walked just 9 men this year while striking out 32. Same spot, 3-0. If Hubbard can draw a walk here, the worst that would figure to happen is, should Mailer make the final out, he'd start at the top of the order in the 3rd. But he hasn't drawn the walk yet. Now he has 2 on, 2 up. And here's Mailer, who is not that bad a hitter. He's at 159. He's driven in three runs, and he has a couple of doubles to his credit. So facing one another now are 2 guys who everybody told to forget it, that they'd never make it to the major leagues. Leach and Mailer.
Well, that's why you shouldn't listen to anyone about your own career.
That's right.
So just keep.
That's the moral. If you really believe in your heart that you can do it in whatever your endeavors may be. Like, I still think I'm going to win the Mr. America contest one of these years.
Just keep plugging away. Lift those weights.
I do, the knife and the fork. 0-1 the count. Dion James would be next. Missed to the breaking ball. 1-1 the count. Benedict at second, Hubbard at first, 2 out. He laid off. 2 balls and a strike. It's going to take a deep single to score Benedict. He cannot get that big a lead as Santana plays Mailer up the middle, and he, like most catchers, does not have great running speed. Line drive, but right at Backman, and the inning is over. He hit the daylights out of it, but right at the second sack. So the Braves mount a mild 2-out threat, but it comes to nothing. No hits, no runs, no errors, and Santana at 272, 4 homers, 25 runs driven in. So he is having a surprisingly good year with the wand. His offense has normally been his downfall. Fastball upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. That's right through there, 1-1. We are scoreless in the 3rd inning. Curve, lashed foul down the right side into the seats. Santana, another Dominican performer out of La Romana in the Dominican Republic. Last year hit .218 for the Mets. He knew it. Fastball over the outside corner. Santana called out on strikes. Mailer records his second strikeout. He's caught both men looking.
This is really how Rick Mailer has picked up his performances in the past month, relying more on the fastball. Now, that's a great location on the very edge of the outside corner.
Terry Leach is hitting 0.56. Nothing and one, the count to it. Randy O'Neill and Ron Darling in game 2. Ron Darling has won just 2 games. That's amazing. Threw the fastball by him, 0-2. The Braves, by the way, lead the season series between these clubs 5-1. High fly ball, left field, no carry to it. Griffey comes in fact. 2 out. So Leach is retired, and Mookie Wilson, the batter, he hit the ball hard his first time. Lined hard to Murphy in right field. Mookie is out of our part of the world. Bamberg, South Carolina, now makes his home up in Lakewood, New Jersey. Two outs, nobody aboard. Mookie got the name Mookie from his grandmother. Very involved in charity work in the off season is this young man. Fouls that away. It's 0-2. He stayed alive with a very weak swing. Count stays 0-2 on Wilson. Two out, nobody aboard. Boy, just barely got a piece of that.
In his rookie year, it was 1981, I think, he was 7th in the balloting for the Mookie of the Year award. 7th, I said.
Just let it lay there, John. Struck him out. The inning is over. 3 strikeouts for Mailer. No hits, no runs, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning with your score. The Braves and Mets, 0-0. Your passes, John?
No.
Just wonder. James singled his first time. Fastball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. We're zipping right along here in game 1. The pitch fouled away. And it's even at a ball and a strike. Following the Mets into town are the Phillies prior to the All-Star break. That is fair into the right field corner. Strawberry's got a great arm, but he'll never throw out James. He's got a standing double, his 20th of the year. And the Braves are in business here in the 3rd inning.
You know how good a first baseman Keith Hernandez is. Always a Gold Glove winner. Well, James pulls the outside fastball right over the bag. I mean, Hernandez didn't have a chance. And so the Braves get Deion James to second base with no one out. Now, if Thomas does not get a base hit, he's got to hit the ball to the right side to move James on over to 3rd.
Thomas tapped back to the mound his first time. He was bunting. 1 ball, no strikes. We've got a 4:50 game against the Phillies Friday night, and that's RB Spirit Pennant night. first 30,000 fans with a reserved seat ticket will receive a Brave Spirit pennant. And since it's Arby's Spirit Pennant night, that's courtesy of Arby's. The bunt is a very good one. He may beat this out. Hernandez made a great play. Great play by Hernandez to get him by a step at first base. He had to flip that back over his shoulder, sort of like throwing a pepper shaker over his shoulder, but he got him out.
Very inventive play by Hernandez because Thomas Bunt is pushed toward the second baseman. And really, that should have been a base hit. Leach couldn't get it. Now, Hernandez kind of backflips it. That's a terrific play by Keith just to beat Thomas to the bag. And they beat him by about half a step as James moves on over to third. Very inventive by Hernandez.
Well, I don't know if Leach got the bag. I guess he got the corner of it. For Bob Davidson was right on top of the play. There was no argument by Atlanta. So Gerald Perry has a chance to drive in a run. Infield is back for the Mets. Though Johnson even with the bag at third, and that's not going to score the run. Atoll, 2 up. When you're losing, those are the kind of things that happen. You've got the opportunity and you can't cash in.
And if you had to guess, would Perry drive in the run, the answer would be yes. Because Leach, coming underhand, had a disadvantage to left-handed as Perry makes good contact. And normally, Gerald really gets the job done, but Skip, your point's well taken. When it's going bad, pal, it's going bad.
Looked like he tried to pull a pitch away that time and tapped it right back for the mound. Well, it's all up to Dale Murphy, who bounced to short his first time. Just a routine 4:50 p.m. start on Friday. Man. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Santana should throw him out, and he does. And so the Braves blow a good chance in the third. A leadoff double. A runner at third, 1 out, but Atlanta comes up empty. 1 hit lead off the 4th inning in a scoreless game. And as Bachman standing in with the play-by-play story, here once again, John Sterling.
Okay, thank you, Skip. Bachman is not really having a terrific year. He's a very good offensive player normally. Came into the game hitting at 256. He misses the let up from Mailer, 0-1. Tim Tuffle, the right-hand hitting addition of Mets second base, is having a tremendous year. Look at the Met ball club. You wonder why they're struggling, even with the injuries to the pitching staff. They have a terrific roster. 0-2 now. Benedict going through a whole series of signs, wants it inside, and there it is, just missing 1 and 2. There's Tim Tuffle, who is still platooning with Bachman, even though Tuffle is hitting at 339, and he's got a lot more power than Wally. 2 and 2. The slow curve bounces up there. Bachman's a switch hitter, but he does almost all of his playing against right-hand pitching. As a right-hand hitter, he's 2 for 22, which is why he does all of his playing against right-hand pitching. Last year, when the Mets won it all, he was an integral part. He and Dykstra seemingly were always on base, setting the table for the big hitters. Now, Mailer, after going ahead 0-2, now throws 2 slow curves in the dirt and falls behind 3-2. This is the wrong guy to walk. He can only hit singles. And in back of him, you have Hernandez, Carter, Strawberry, and McReynolds. There's Keith. There you see the difference in the years that Wally has had. The fastball is fouled away. Now the count remains 3-2. See, look at the Mets bench. I mean, this lineup they're playing is terrific. And you look at the bench, and they have nothing but hitters on the bench. Lenny Dykstra and Lee Mazzilli, and a rookie named Dave Magadan, a left-hand hitter. That fastball is hit up the middle, so Bachman gets the base hit after Mailer fell behind 3-2. And he sets the table now for the Mets' big hitters here in the 4th. Hernandez, one of the game's great players, both in the field and at bat. Can hit any kind of pitching, whether it's a left-hander or a right-hander. Can hit power. And can hit the ball to all fields. Backman goes. They play hit and run. But Hubbard still gets the out and the double play. Glenn Hubbard. I know that we sometimes beat a fallen horse here in the booth, but day in and day out, Glenn Hubbard makes every play you want him to make at second base.
Hernandez hit the ball too hard for Mets purposes. Thomas kicked the corner of the bag, eluded Backman easily, and then it was routine. I've never beaten a fallen horse up here in the booth, Jack.
I guess I was with Ernie or Pete or something.
Probably so. Or watching The Godfather, perhaps.
Right. And that horse had a piece of him missing,
yeah.
So it's really tough.
Very kinky situation.
And Gary Carter bats with 2 outs. And Mailer's up high, ball 1.
I think I'll be quiet for a while. We appear to be headed for trouble.
It's okay. Take the horse and Mookie and another ball game to follow. The fastball, I guess, is a bit low. And the count 2-0 on Carter. Carter not having a big year. Hitting a .245, 11 homers and 41 RBIs. It'd be okay stats for another catcher, but Gary's been one of the best in the game. Mailer falls behind 3-0. Carter's a good hitter, but gee, you don't want to put him on with a left-hand hitter like Strawberry up next. There's a base hit, 3-0. Carter swinging, rams one in the hole. And so Mailer will face Strawberry with 2 outs and Carter at first base. It's interesting about Strawberry. Here the crowd reacts to him in Atlanta. I think it all looks a lot worse in the newspaper than it really is. Teams have certainly won in the past with guys feuding with each other. The Yanks in the late 70s, Oakland in the early 70s. And yet, Strawberry will probably be a starter on the National League All-Star team. He has a very magic name and a very gifted player. I know this, that if you decide to put him up on the trading block, there'll be a whole lot of teams going after him. And he hasn't yet, and boy, what a cliche this is, but he hasn't yet really realized his potential.
And then the question about Darryl Strawberry or any other young player with good credentials is, will he ever?
Mailer falls behind 2-0. You look at the stats, what Strawberry's accomplished against Mailer. Rick does have trouble with left-hand hitters. You know, Mailer will pitch him carefully. Here's a big pitch at 2-0. Oh, rocketed up the middle for a base hit. Carter with little speed stops at second. And but for the double play ball, the Mets might have had a pretty big inning going. But there are 2 outs, first and second, and if Mailer can get McReynolds, why, he'll be out of the inning. McReynolds walked his first time up at .279, 14 homers and 42 RBIs. He started off slowly with the Mets, but has been a hot hitter in his last 20 or 25 games. Mailer throws a sharp curve or a slider, something he normally doesn't throw for a strike. It's been the last 24 games. McReynolds has hit .344. First and second, 2 out, top of the 4th. Benedict throws behind the runner, but Strawberry gets back. Mailer misses just off the corner on the count 2-1. Doesn't get any easier. A left-hand power hitter on deck, Howard Johnson. Look at this lineup. Wonder why the Mets are as many games back as they are. Curveball is fouled just underneath us. Mailer took something off the curve. And the count at 2-2. Here comes a big pitch in this inning, the 2-2. Strike three is called outside corner. Pretty pitch by Mailer. He threw the fastball and hit the outside edge of the plate. Well, for the Mets, no runs on 3 hits, and they leave 2. And at the end of 3.5 in game 1, we are still scoreless.
Everyone's idea of the perfect car may be different, but on gasolines, people often agree.
Thanks, Dad.
Which is why Americans have made Shell the best-selling gasolines in the country.
Hey, Tommy, the big day at last.
Couldn't have done it.
Braves.
We just got a little preview up here in the booth of the fight in Chicago, or at least a portion of it today, where Andre Dawson, boy, he really got tagged by Eric Shaw, who ran off the field after some people were looking for him. And somewhere along the line here, perhaps between games or whenever we can get the package edited and put together, we'll show it to you in case you missed it this afternoon.
And boy, it's ugly. It reminds you really of the Braves-Padres fight. Was that in 84, I think? 85?
3 or 4.
One of those years.
Except there a guy got hit in the hip to start it. Here a guy got hit in the face.
Oh, yeah. Griffey, base hit right field. Well, the Braves get another leadoff hit. They've had a leadoff man get out in 3 of the 4 innings against Leach and haven't been able to push across a run. And Griffey at first. It just was very ugly. And, you know, you can't read intent, they say, and I guess it's true. But, boy, it certainly is coincidental when a pitcher is getting tuned up and someone gets hit. It's okay, by the way, to brush people back. It's even okay, I guess, to drill them low. Well, you throw up in the face, you're asking for trouble. That was a very ugly situation. Here's Greg Nettles. Leach took something off, and Nettles fouls it back. Greg's played very well as a regular. This is his 11th game that he has started consecutively since Ken Oberkfell went on the DL. He's been hitting just under 300 in that time, and he's made all the plays at third base. And as Skip mentioned before, his 22 RBIs coming in just over 100 at-bats. So if he had 400 at-bats, let's say, in a year, that could lead to 80 RBIs. He's had really a very productive year for the Braves. That's the Leach fastball outside, and the count 1-1.
You know, we say we can't read intent, but Andre Dawson felt that he could. Rick Sutcliffe, Keith Moreland felt that they could in that situation. And Shaw sort of got out of Dodge.
Do you remember a couple of weeks ago before the road trip, here's the pitch. It's outside, 2-1. Playing the Giants here, the Braves had hit a few home runs, and a rookie who's not in the big leagues anymore, John Perlman, drilled Murph.
Yeah.
All of Murph's teammates thought absolutely that he went after him for the pitch. Dale Murphy was a little kinder about it. That's high, and the count goes to 3-1 on Nettles. The way Leach delivers the ball to a left-hand hitter, whether he throws a breaking ball or a fastball, it will have the rotation really of a screwball. It kind of will break away from a left-hand hitter. But the lefty hitter does get a long look at it. See, the ball kind of spins away, delivered from that angle, and the count goes to 3-2. Let's see if the Braves have Griffey running now. There's no one out. Scoreless ball game, bottom of the 4th. Nettles, for the most part, makes good contact, and he's ready to swing at Leach 3-2, and Leach is certainly not a strikeout pitcher. However, Griffey stays put in his double play ball. 6-4-3.
I think one reason Griffey stayed put here and did not run is because he has had some back stiffness, but it works out poorly for Atlanta. And he wound up having to slide anyway.
Bruce Benedict hitting very low at 136. He's only had 59 at bats. He has 8 hits, a homer, and 5 RBIs. Skip Kerry, John Sterling with you from Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. That should be the 3rd out of the inning. Howard Johnson. And for the Braves, they waste another leadoff hit. No runs on a hit at the end of 4. The Braves and the Mets are 0-0.
Excuse me, we can't. You can't.
Don't move, Hammer. I gave it up. No more harsh malt liquor taste. I've come for King Cobra smooth taste and cold malt liquor satisfaction. So I've heard. Now hand it over. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. It's the new breed. It's quality. Hey, this is it.
Don't move, Hammer.
King Cobra!
I met Cuss when I was 13 years old, and he'd watch me box. And the only thing I can remember him saying was that you're going to be the youngest heavyweight champion in the world. Knockdown rounds, drag-out fights, endless days and sleepless nights, and one memory that still shines bright. You were there for me. I miss you, Cuss.
Display your colors indoors and out during anniversary paint days at True Value Hardware stores. Give interior walls a high-hiding finish with True Test flat latex wall paint, only $4.99 a gallon. For exterior wood or brick, rely on their latex house paint, just $6.98 a gallon. And give exterior wood a rich, natural finish with True Test latex redwood stain for just $2.98 a gallon during anniversary paint days at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
To the 5th. Braves and Mets are scoreless, and a pretty good crowd building in at the stadium. People getting off work, trying to battle their way through the traffic and get here. Now they're showing that fight on the matrix board in left center field, and you see the Mets watching it along with everyone else. When Dawson got hit with the pitch, he was striding in, and the pitch was up and in and right in his face. I hope Andre's okay. First of all, he's having a sensational year for the Cubs. He's become the most popular guy in Chicago. Secondly, he's a terrific guy and really one of the leaders in baseball. Very good person. Here's Howard Johnson to lead off. We want to get a duck in a birthday. Josh Sorrows. Josh happy today in Somerville, South Carolina. He's 10 years old. It's double figures, Josh. Anyway, have a happy birthday, and your Aunt Susie says hello. Beautiful change by Mailer for a strike.
Is that Aunt Susie from Delta Airlines?
It certainly is.
I happen to know that the employees of Delta Airlines are paid well enough to be able to afford a telephone call.
You would think so, but another change is cut out. I missed in the count 0-2. Oh, Susan, you know we love you. Just that after she called, that shaving cream in the grate of the phone, I think it might be there forever. Caught me at the wrong time. The fastball misses and the count 1-2. Well, Mailer, after pulling the string twice on Howard Johnson, throws the fastball away. Hojo having a great year. He has 16 home runs. That's his career high. 45 RBIs. And lines this one to left center field. Played on a hop and going past Deion James. James got too close to the ball. Johnson rounds second and holds on. They should score that, a single and an error. It probably will be a double. And the Mets have the prospective first run at second base with no outs.
Indecision cost him. He couldn't make up his mind all the way along whether to go for that ball or not. And as it works out, he might as well have gone for it because he played it very poorly anyway. It is a single and an error, as it should have been.
Now the Mets have the 8th hitter up and a pitcher who does not hit behind him, so they probably won't bunt. In fact, I'm pretty sure they won't. But Santana could help his ball club if he would move Johnson over to third. Terry Leach is on deck, then at least maybe you could play a suicide or even safety squeeze with the pitcher. Santana fouls it away.
He showed bunt as much as he could prior to the pitch. His hand ran up and down the bat about 6 times, hoping to lure the Braves in. He's got Nettles even with a bag at third, but that's about it.
Tim McCarver. There you see Nettles. Tim McCarver talking about the Mets with me before the game tonight. We're talking about how could you predict Terry Leach should be 7-0 and Ron Darling hasn't won in 2.5 months. And he said, well, look, let me try this on you. Suppose during the wintertime you said that Howard Johnson's going to have his career high in home runs, knocking all those runs in the first half of the year, and Santana would be hitting in the 270s. Where do you think the Mets would be then? And of course you'd think, well, they'd probably be in first place by 15 games. But things don't work out like that. The 0-2. Bounce to Mailer. He'll hold the runner. Oh, there's one away.
Selma, Alabama, and Auburn University proud of Terry Leach, and they have good reason to be.
Yes, sir. He has really battled. And now with all the injuries to Aguilera and Ojeda and David Cone, Darling's inability to win, and Gooden's problems with cocaine, Terry Leach has stepped forward and is 7-0. Imagine what the Mets would be without Leach being 7-0. Mailer's curveball is high. Leach, as a hitter, just 1 for 19. He hit a fly ball to short left his first time. We're in the top of the 5th, scoreless. Howard Johnson at second base and 1 out. There's a strike. And the count 1-1. And Hojo leading off second. Mailer trying to hit the corners, even against Leach, and he falls behind 2-1. This is the guy you certainly have earmarked as the second out of the inning. Then Rick would have to go after a really tough hitter, Mookie Wilson. Fouled away 2-2.
Boy, it looked like he chased ball 3 there, too. That pitch looked up and in.
That's Rafael Santana on the Mets bench. And Terry Leach. The 2-2. Curveball misses, and the count goes to 3-2. Now Mailer runs the count full and now has to throw a strike or walk the opposition pitcher, who's 1 for 19 this year. Right down the pipe. Mailer strikes out his 5th.
He throws him a fastball down the middle. And I think he could have saved himself a lot of energy had he done that earlier in the count.
Indeed. 2-way. Rick has walked 1. He struck out 5. And given up 5 hits. Now Mookie Wilson with a runner at second base in scoring position and 2 outs. Fouled at the plate. In his last 10 games, Mookie hitting a .361. That probably is why he asked to be traded. And of course, the problem is he asked through the newspapers to be traded. Well, that's going to be headlines on the back page, and they're not going to say Mookie said, gee golly, I'd like to play regular. They're going to say Mookie wants out in banner headlines reserved for World War III. Davey Johnson, the Mets manager. Frank Cashin has said he's not going to be traded. He's too good a player. I don't blame him. 1-1.
And for those of you not familiar with the New York press, the Daily News and the Post are tabloid papers where the back page starts the sports section, sort of a second front page.
And for sports fans, that is the front page. Fastball misses in tight. The count 2-1.
My favorite New York Post headline ever. I can never remember exactly. Man finds head in topless bar or something like that.
I'll give you the headline in a minute. Remember that we were on a bus to Philadelphia. Headless body found in topless bar.
That's it.
Mailer will get out of the inning. He throws at Mookie. Ernie and Pete will come on by. And at the end of 4.5 innings of play now in game 1 of this twilight doubleheader at the stadium, the Braves nothing, the Mets nothing.
It's hard to rely on any of your tools if you can't rely on the ones you measure with. So we build the durability into every tape we make. That's why you don't see people replacing their Lovekin measuring tapes, but why you do see them buying more. Lovekin tapes from Cooper Tools. The difference between work and workmanship.
When you buy a new lawnmower, you want to believe that each one will be the last you'll ever have to buy. But in time, it becomes painfully clear that not all lawnmowers are engineered to last. Knowing this, why would you settle for anything less than a Honda? Year after year, the right tool for mowing the lawn.
Turtle Wax gives a hard shell finish. Turtle Wax.
Generation after generation, Turtle Wax has been the world's best-selling car wax. Nothing has been able to clean, shine, and protect your car better. Only Turtle Wax gives a super hard shell finish. And it's still the best-selling car wax in the world.
Turtle Wax.
Thursday, Superstar Summer continues with Glenn Ford and Chad Everett in the Toyota Theater presentation of The Last Challenge, 10:15 Eastern, Thursday.
There's a look at your score. It's been all pitching. Terry Leach, Rick Mailer dueling it out as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning of tonight's first game. Pete Van Wern, Ernie Johnson joining you now on Braves TV. And Glenn Hubbard will lead it out for Atlanta. Hubbard walked his first time up. Rick Mailer will follow. Then the top of the order, Deion James. Off the pitcher's glove, slows it down for Santana, but he'll still throw him out. Score that one 1-6-3, and on one pitch, 1 out here in the 5th inning. Now Rick Mailer, who grounded out to second his first time up. Leach, who throws that sidearm sinker, gets a lot of ground balls. All 3 outs in the first inning, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, all 3 outs in the fourth, and 1 here in the 5th on infield grounders. 0-1 on Rick Mailer. Nothing game, bottom half of inning 5. Another game to follow as the count goes to 1-1 on Rick Mailer. Ron Darling will face Randy O'Neill in game 2. Tomorrow night, Sid Fernandez against Charlie Puleo. And it's now 1-2 on Mailer. Jerry Crawford shaken up a little on that foul ball. One and 2 on Mailer. Fouls it off to hold the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Terry Leach, very modest about his success this year. He's 7-0, 2.13 earned run average. He's really picked up the New York Mets pitching staff with all their injuries and problems they've had. Mailer drills one into center field. He's got a base hit. Hit number 4 off of Terry Leach, who says that even though he's pitched so well as a starting pitcher, he fully expects to wind up back in the bullpen when everybody gets healthy again for New York. That may not be the case if he keeps pitching the way he has been.
They're waiting on Aguilera to get back. Oh, he is gone for the year.
David Cohen also very close to being ready, so they're going to get a couple of their pitchers back in the near future. Mailer not being held. The pitch coming to Deion James is 2 for 2, and he takes it low. Wow.
That's not very many, is it?
Only 30 runs scored by Atlanta in the last 12 games. Braves have gone 3-9 over that stretch. One of the wins, a 1-0 victory. You don't get many of those. I don't care how good a team you are, whether you're the Murderers Row of 1927 in New York or a last-place team in 1987. You're going to go through stretches where you don't score runs. The Toronto Blue Jays just went through a stretch.
They lost 8 in a row. With all their hitters, they couldn't score.
Every team every year has it happen to them. The thing that you hope for is it only happens to you once and then for a short time. Some teams it happens to 2 or 3 times a year. And when that happens to you, it's a long season. 3-0 the count now on Deion James. There's your runner at first, Rick Mailer. You see Hernandez plays behind him. And the 3-0 pitch on the outside corner at 3-1. One man out, bottom half of the 5th inning, scoreless game. Mets with 5 hits, Braves with 4. And the pitch to Deion James caught the outside corner again. Full count now, 3-2. We'll see if Chuck Tanner sends the runner, Rick Mailer. He is not going, and the 3-2 pitch, low and away, ball 4. So the Braves again have 2 runners on base. They had this situation back in the 2nd inning with 2 men out. Couldn't do anything. Let's see what happens here. 1st and 2nd, 1 out for Andres Thomas, who has bounced to the pitcher and had a sacrifice bunt. That's 3 walks issued now by Terry Leach. And that's high for him. He only had 9 walks all season coming in. Leach delivers, and Thomas hits one foul over by the Mets dugout. You can see how Terry Leach pitches. Right-hand hitters, he throws that sidearm sinker right in on their hands. Against left-handers, for the most part, he tries to keep the ball away on the outside part of the plate. Doesn't come in on them very often. Gets a lot of ground balls.
Because he can't throw a ball. From that delivery angle, he can't throw a ball straight. He's going to throw mostly sinkers and sidearm curves and get the double play.
1 ball, 1 strike. They say that the sidearm delivery or the underhand delivery is the easiest on your arm.
That's the way your arm.
That's a more natural way to throw.
And you don't see many pitchers that throw that way. You can almost call this guy a submarine pitcher rather than sidearm. And so that's good for deception. Like facing a knuckleball pitcher. You don't face very many of them, so you kind of wait for them to leave town.
1 ball, 1 strike to count with 1 out. Another ground ball, might be 2, 5, 4. Good pickup by Hernandez to complete the double play. So another ground ball gets Terry Leach out of trouble. We have played 5 innings, and our score in game 1, the Braves nothing, and the New York Mets nothing.
Now's the time to vacation in Europe with Delta. We'll give you a free car for an entire week. You can see all those sights you've dreamed of seeing with your own car, free. We'll fly you to England, or France, or Germany, or Ireland. For Delta's low fares, call your travel agent. Delta gets you there with care.
Today's Duracell battery. It lasts up to 30% longer than the ones we made just 2 years ago. Duracell. No battery lasts longer.
Things haven't been going Harry Berg's way.
You're slime! I'm human slime.
But a little black box
That looks like a bomb.
is going to change his life.
Take the box. It attaches to the lottery machine somehow. They already know what the numbers are going to be. I'm so rich I can't stand it.
People involved are extremely nasty.
You know, I wish I had a piece of metal.
Michael Keaton.
I'm trying to be serious
The
here.
Squeeze, rated PG-13. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
When it comes to the video music you want, Friday and Saturday, the Superstation gives you 3 reasons not to watch anyone else. Night Tracks Power Play, Night Tracks Chartbusters, and Night Tracks, 80s music for 80s people. Only on the Superstation.
A Braves autograph ball makes a great gift. You can find one in the Braves Clubhouse collection. Order your catalog, send your name, address, and $1 today to Braves Catalog, Post Office Box 4006, Atlanta, Georgia, 30302, or stop by the Braves Clubhouse store at CNN Center in downtown Atlanta.
We go to the top half of the 6th inning. Pitchers battle tonight between Rick Mailer and Terry Leach, scoreless through 5. It'll be Wally Backman, Keith Hernandez, and Gary Carter due up against Mailer here in the 6th inning. Wally Backman 1 for 2. He struck out in the 1st and got a base hit to center in the 4th inning. And he has been a nemesis throughout Rick Mailer's career. Not having quite the year that he had last year when he hit .320 for the Mets. Last year, Dykstra and Backman at the top of that order, it seemed like they were always on base. Nice play by Gerald Perry. He'll handle it himself, 1 down. If they had an award for the most improved defensive player, Gerald Perry would win it hands down this year.
Nice play, too, because Perry was a little shallow, and he had to have some quick movement. You can see he was on the edge of the grass looking for a possible bunt, so that made the play even better.
Now Keith Hernandez, who's 0 for 2. He's grounded out to short and hit into a 4-6-3 double play. No runs, 5 hits for the Mets. No runs, 4 hits for the Braves. Top half of the 6th inning. Doubleheader tonight after the rain out last night. Nothing in 1. Mailer's had very good control tonight. He's walked only 1. He has struck out 5. Been ahead of most of the hitters. And he's ahead 0-2 on Keith Hernandez. The C is for captain. It is not for copy boy. He is not real fond of the way the press has handled the Mets' problems of late. One ball, 2 strikes.
He tried everything. He shaved his mustache off for a while, said maybe that'll help. Didn't, so he grew it back.
Now the 1-2 on the way, 2-2. Seems like every time you see Keith Hernandez, every year, he's hitting either 285, 295, 305, somewhere in there. He's a 294 right now. A very consistent player. Very seldom has a bad streak or a bad season.
Well, we'll check his lifetime average. It's got to be up there around 300.
Count is 2-2.
302 lifetime.
Mm-hmm. One man out, base is empty. Foul back. He's one of those players. Some players, you'll look at him, they'll have a 300 lifetime batting average, but it'll be putting together some years where they hit 325, other years they hit 260. Keith Hernandez, very consistent throughout his career. I think managers really like that when they can just about pencil in what a guy's going to do for them as the year goes on. Full count, 3-2.
It's the same way with the pitching staff, and I go back to the old Braves. Fred Haney knew that Spahn, Burdette, and Buell would win close to 60 games between them. You could pencil them in.
And there you see how consistent Keith Hernandez has been. That's a decade. Payoff pitch. He got him this time. Rick Mailer wins the battle, records his 6th strikeout.
Looked like a fastball. We'll know in a moment. It was. Looked like it almost too good a fastball, and he still missed it.
Gary Carter, 2 out of 2, a pair of singles. Ball 1 down low, 2 men out, base is empty, 0-0 game, top half of the 6th inning. And that fastball caught the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. You'd think that a guy like Gary Carter, who's played baseball his entire life, would have something as an off-the-field hobby that didn't have anything to do with the game. But Gary Carter's hobby off the field, collecting baseball cards. 1-2-3 for Rick Mailer in the 6th inning. We go to the bottom half, still no score.
It was so simple. Really, a direct electrical charge here heats up the carbonized filament here, which in turn excites the gases trapped in here. And voila!
Well, it's very nice, Thomas. But I wanted a Bud Light.
If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
Don't feel bad, Thomas. It's not a complete loss.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
When a lot goes into getting a perfect 35mm photo,
Okay, all right, everybody.
make sure it gets the individual attention it deserves with Eckerd's UltraLab 35 photo processing. UltraLab examines each negative for color and contrast, uses only Kodak paper and chemicals. Plus, UltraLab prints are 30% larger. Take your 35mm film to someone who works as hard as you do to get that perfect photo. Eckerd UltraLab 35. Nothing looks better.
Now I gear my game toward one thing. Winning.
Wilson 1200 gear effect iron, proven more accurate than pain.
I hate to play safe. Now I don't.
Club so forgiving you can miss the sweet spot and still hit a sweet shot.
Now, I shoot for the stick.
Wilson 1200 gear effect. The effect?
More accuracy, more wins.
1200 gear effect by Wilson.
0-0 game as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Gerald Perry, Dale Murphy, Ken Griffey do up against Terry Leach. Of the 15 outs in the game recorded by Leach, 12 have been in infield grounders, and that's a sign that he is at his best. Perry will lead it off. He's grounded out twice, once to third, once to the pitcher. Another game to follow this one. And then tomorrow night, single game, Sid Fernandez against Charlie Palaio. That one gets underway at 7:35 Eastern Time. And the Phillies come in for a 4-game series. 7:35 on Thursday. We'll be with you at 4:45 on Friday afternoon, 7:35 Saturday night, and 2:05 on Sunday. See, Friday night is pennant night, and this weekend is cap weekend. Braves caps given out on both Saturday and Sunday. Well, let's see if the Braves get something going here. Called strike to Perry, 0-1. It has been a while since the Braves. In fact, the Braves did not have the lead at all in the St. Louis series over the weekend. So they have to go back to the road trip before you have the Braves ahead in the ball game. Gerald Perry with a base hit to left, opening up the bottom half of the 6th inning. Hit number 5 off Terry Leach. Now Dale Murphy, who has twice grounded out to short.
That's the way to hit a sinker baller. If you're a left-handed batter, the ball is going to be breaking away and down, and he wants you to try to pull a ball. Then you get an easy grounder to second. So Perry going the other way, just like Deion James did back in the 1st inning, and the Braves have a runner at first.
Murphy hitless in his last 15 at-bats. His batting average down to .303. There goes the runner. The pitch is inside. Carter's throw, not in time. Stolen base for Gerald Perry is 13th of the year.
He got a nice jump on Leach. The throw by Carter, not too bad, but he stole a base on the pitcher. You can see the throw is right on target, but of course Carter, and everyone knows this in baseball, doesn't throw like he did 5 years ago.
Back to second base. The throw goes into center field. Gerald Perry will advance to third. That'll be an error on the pitcher, Terry Leach. And now the Braves have to score here, don't they? A runner at third, nobody out.
Yes. He threw this right into Perry. Watch. See where Perry is? In fact, he threw it on the other side of Gerald, right in between where he had his arm on the ground. I believe that ball went right in between where his arm was on the ground, or his hand on the ground, and his body. Right in that hole.
So Perry now at third with nobody out. A count of 1 ball, no strikes on Murphy. Infield's going to play it about halfway. Now you see the infield. Against some hitters, they might play all the way in. Murphy hits the ball so hard, though, the Mets play it a little safer, about halfway. Count 2-0.
Yes, when they do that, they feel that they can do the same job in that position as they can up on the grass, and they cut down the angle. They're still coming home on a grounder.
There's your runner at third. A single, a stolen base, a throwing error by the pitcher, and now the 2-0 pitch on the way to Murphy. That almost hit Gerald Perry. It was in foul territory all the way. The count 2-1.
Yes, he was only about 80 feet from home. Still got out of the way. But Russ Nixon has probably told Perry that to make it go through, that just means any ground ball, make it go through that infield before you attempt to score. This is with nobody out. With 1 out, they'll take a chance on a bounder if you got any speed at third.
So the count now 2-1 on Dale Murphy. 0-0 game, bottom half of the 6th inning. Here's the 2-1 delivery. That is a fair ball off the bag at third. Perry scores. Murphy will take a big turn and go back. But the Braves take the lead as Murphy breaks out of his 0-for-15 slump with a run-scoring single. RBI number 54 of the season.
I think this ball hit the bag. Another bullet to third. Pitches inside. And Murphy, it did. It hit the bag just out of the reach of Johnson. And give McReynolds some credit. Boy, he was in there making sure Murphy didn't get two.
Now Ken Griffey, who is flying to left and singled. His single back in the fourth inning. Broken 0 for 16 slump. So maybe Murphy and Griffey are breaking out of it a little bit here. Leach deals. Outside, ball one. Braves have beaten the Mets 5 times out of 6 this season.
I'll bet someone in that Braves dugout has already gone over to Mailer and said, "Oh, there's your run. Hold them now." It's a well-known saying.
That's low and outside, 2-0. In fact, the Braves were somewhat perturbed, particularly Chuck Tanner, after having won 5 out of 6 games, when Davey Johnson made a statement to the press in New York that we shouldn't lose 5 out of 6 to such a mediocre team. Chuck didn't really cotton to the idea of another manager calling his team mediocre. There goes Murphy. Pitch to Griffey. High fly ball, right center field. Darryl Strawberry there for the catch, and back to first goes Murphy. 1 down. Davey Johnson, Sammy Perlaza, one of his coaches, alongside him in the Mets dugout. And there's Greg Nettles stepping in. He's flying to left and hit into a 6-4 3-double play. If you want to know what it's like to go through a season in New York with all the media turmoil, just read Greg Nettles' book of a couple of years ago from the Yankee point of view. Long look toward first by Leach. Now the pitch to Nettles. Low, ball 1. The left-hander is Randy Myers. Jeff Innes is the right-hander in the Mets bullpen. First bullpen activity of the night for either club. Here's the 1-0. 2-0. One run, 6 hits now for Atlanta.
Breaking loose, Peter.
There's your runner at first, Dale Murphy. And the 2-0 pitch to Nettles is a strike in the inside corner, 2-1. You don't very often see Leach come inside on left-hand hitters. But every now and then, especially when he gets behind in the count, he'll try to surprise a lefty and put one in there, which he just did for a strike. Now the 2-1 on the way. Popped him up. Third baseman Howard Johnson. 2 down. Now the catcher Bruce Benedict, who has walked and grounded out to third. Besides being pennant night on Friday night, that first pitch is at 4:50. It's also no game has ever started at this time before night.
Give us a chance.
4:50, that's different.
Yeah.
There's Benedict. But Murphy chased back. Two men out here in the 6th inning. Ball 1 to Bruce. One 0 Atlanta. Both of these teams trying to snap 3-game losing streaks. Two 2-0 the count now on Benedict. Fans continue to file in here. We're going to wind up with a pretty good crowd tonight. Well, it looks like it'll be over 20.
Still time to get out of here. Another game to follow if you're just sitting around and not doing anything.
Count goes to 2-1 now on Bruce.
Might have 15 to 20, maybe 8, maybe better than 20 by the time everybody gets in here.
As you see, the Mets not cutting down runners with quite the frequency that they used to. Gary Carter not having that 50% success ratio, which he did for so many years.
You see people drifting in.
3-1 the count now on Bruce Benedict. With 2 outs, you might see Murphy take off here. He is not going. He will be this time. It's full 3-2. Terry Leach out of Selma, Alabama.
Old War Eagle. Up to Auburn.
Hernandez playing behind Murphy now. He'll take off on this 3-2 with 2 outs. And it's fouled down that third base side. Boy, Benedict has hit about seemingly 15 or 16 foul balls over that way tonight, each at bat. Seems like he's hit 2 or 3 that way.
That sinker coming down and in. Only problem is sometimes if a guy is looking for it, he can golf it and hit it a long way.
And again, the look over by Leach. Now he steps off.
Looks like Carter wanted to pitch on the outside part this time.
Murphy on the run, and there's ball 4 to Bruce Benedict. So the runners are now at first and second for Glenn Hubbard. And that's the 4th walk issued by Terry Leach.
It's unusual for him. He's usually got fine control.
Hubbard 0 for 1. He walked back in the second, grounded out in the 5th inning. Hit a ball that glanced off the glove of the pitcher. Santana, the shortstop, made the play. Terry Leach was sent to the minor leagues in spring training. He was a non-roster player for the Mets. About midway through spring training, they sent him back to their minor league camp. The very next day, Dwight Gooden went into that drug rehabilitation program. Leach came back up, and he's been a real savior on this Mets pitching staff with all the injuries they've had this year. And Leach 7-0 coming into this one. Ahead in the count 0-1.
He's over 30 years old, and he's the type of guy that he's been working and working in the minor leagues, striving to make a name for himself in the major leagues, and you just pull for him. You just hope that that he'll have a few more years and make some money out of the game for all the years he's given to the minor leagues.
0-1 on Hubbard. 2 men out, 1 run in. 0-2 on Glenn Hubbard.
That's that sidearm curve. He had one pitch during warm-ups. He threw all the way to the screen when the game started. It looked like a changeup. He seems to have put that one in his pocket. He's going mostly with curves and sinkers.
0-2, the count on Hubbard. There are your runners. Benedict at first, Murphy second. 2 men out here in the 6th. One and 2.
That breaking pitch finished high. In fact, sometimes if you're a submarine pitcher and you throw a curveball, the curve almost goes up at the end. The plane of the ball just changes, and there have been submarine pitchers that throw the curve, and it goes up, believe it or not. Just like the wood-burning bat.
Now the 1-2 on the way to Hubbard. Grounded slowly toward short. Santana to second in time for the force on Benedict, and that's it for Atlanta. But the Braves have taken the lead. 1 run, 2 hits, a couple left at the end of 6 in game 1. It's the Braves 1 And the New York Mets, nothing.
You better check the upper and lower spray on.
No, I think I got it. What we need is a new washer.
No kidding. Tom, more coffee?
Oh, thank you. Hey, you guys called me over here. What's up?
Well, we know the harbor business pretty well, but...
Yeah, but as you know, when it comes to life insurance, we're lost.
Okay. How can I help?
Your Life of Georgia agent. Good advice for over 95 years.
We'll miss Jackie Gleason, his bluster and beautiful comedy so much. So this week's People has very special coverage every stage of our lovable, laughable comic genius. This week, you'll love the late, great one, People. That's what we're all about.
Tomorrow, Jane Fonda has her love life all locked up until boyfriend meets sugar daddy and wife meets mistress any Wednesday. Then it's another baffling case for Perry Mason. And one of the Navy ships is missing. But with Jerry Lewis at the helm, it's not too surprising. Don't give up the ship. Beginning at 10:05 Eastern on the Superstation tomorrow.
Superstar Summer continues with James Stewart, armed with vengeance and a six-shooter. The Man from Laramie. 10:15 Eastern on the Superstation Wednesday night.
When it comes to the video music you want, Friday and Saturday, the Superstation gives you 3 reasons not to watch anyone else. Night Tracks Power Play, Night Tracks Chart Busters, and Night Tracks, 80s music for 80s people. Only on the Superstation.
Top half of the 7th inning, Mets will be setting up Darryl Strawberry, Kevin McReynolds, and Howard Johnson. And again, when you're not scoring many runs, an inning like this becomes a very important one to you. The Braves had a game with the Cardinals the other day where Gary Renicke's home run in the bottom half of the 6th inning tied the game at 1. And then the Braves went right out and let the Cardinals score 2 in the top of the 7th to reclaim the lead. And that kind of takes the wind right out of your sails when that happens and you're not winning and haven't been scoring runs. Well, the same thing tonight. Braves have gotten the first run. Didn't come until the bottom half of the 6th inning. Now we'll see if Rick Mahler can hold the Mets off the board here in the top half of the 7th. Darryl Strawberry will step in to lead things off. He hit into a double play, 6-3 in the 2nd. He singled to center in the 4th inning. One run, 6 hits for Atlanta. No runs, 5 hits for the New York Mets. Each team has made 1 error. Top half of inning 7 of game 1. Grounded foul, 0-1. Rick Mahler has pitched much better his last 5 starts. He always has been a streaky pitcher. Last year, the month of June was his great month. He won 6 and lost none in June. Seems to be getting it turned around again this year after a streak there where he lost 6 in a row.
Seems to be throwing a few more fastballs on his last couple of outings, too.
Here's the 1-1 now to Strawberry. 2-1. Mahler has retired 6 in a row since Howard Johnson reached for that base hit. Count now even 2-2 on Darryl Strawberry. Mahler 1 game under 500 lifetime. Seeking his 6th win of the season tonight, and the slow curve misses, and the count full 3-2 on Darryl Strawberry. Now the 3-2. Foul. Kevin McReynolds waits in the on-deck circle. Howard Johnson will follow. A lot of power in this Mets lineup when you get down to the lower half of the order. After you get past Carter, the cleanup hitter, then you have Strawberry with 20 home runs, McReynolds with 14, Johnson batting in the 7th spot with 16. Still 3-2 on Strawberry.
Well, the Mets have hit 100 homers. And they had a club record 148 last year. They're gonna break that this year.
Should break it easily. Still 3-2.
But they're not alone as far as the homer goes. There's going to be more guys at more than 20 home runs this year than probably in the history of the game.
Again, the payoff to Strawberry. Bounced toward third off Nettles' glove and rolls by Andres Thomas into shallow left center field. Nettles almost came up with that one. They're going to give Darryl Strawberry a base hit.
I thought he was going to make the play. Let's look at it again. Pitch is outside, and he went that way. See right there? I thought he was going to glove that ball. And I think Nettles thought he was going to make it too, but he didn't, and now they've got a tying run at first.
That's the 6th hit of the game for New York, and here's McReynolds, who has walked and struck out.
This has turned out to be a good deal for the Mets picking up McReynolds.
Kevin trying to extend a 9-game hitting streak. There's the 0-1. Into right field. It is a fair ball headed toward the right field corner. Darryl Strawberry heads for third. They're going to hold him there. And down at second with a double, Kevin McReynolds, his 20th double of the year. And the Mets are now threatening. Runners second and third, nobody out. Howard Johnson due up.
I don't know if this ball was by him or it was outside. Let's watch. He kind of went that way, didn't he? You could see him as he looked at the ball, and he almost would watch the ball. As a batting coach will tell you, see if you can see the ball hit the bat. He kept his head down, gets himself a double. McReynolds is the type of guy that if you just leave him alone, there's the bullpen for the Braves, and he's a very quiet individual. In San Diego, they didn't think he was playing 100% all the time, but he plays the game in a relaxed style. I think McReynolds, just leave him alone. He'll hit you 25 homers a year and knock in 85, 90 runs, bat around 280, and even steal 15 bases. And he'll probably do it for the next 5 or 7 years if you just kind of say, you're my left fielder.
Here's Howard Johnson, who's flying to center and singled. Rick Mailer in a real trouble spot here. Second and third with nobody out, and that's going to change. Center fielder Deion James, the long run, makes the catch. The runners have to hold. So there's a big first out. Now Rafael Santana, the shortstop. The Mets bullpen now has the left-hander Jesse Orozco throwing. There's Jesse.
That was a good play by Deion James. He made sure that Thomas wasn't going to go back there and try to make a catch with his back to the infield. If Thomas had tried to make a catch back there, and we'll look at it again, James just chased him off and said, now you let me make this catch, because if you catch it, Strawberry's going to tag and try to score from third. So James came a long way. Then he ran the ball in to make sure that everybody stayed where they're supposed to.
Santana 0 for 2, a strikeout and a bouncer back to the pitcher. The infield in at first and third, back deep at second and short. Mailer deals, high and tight, ball 1.
I don't know if Johnson squeezes very often or not, but Santana handles that bat pretty well. They've got a pinch hitter out there. Looks like Mazzilli's coming out to pinch hit.
There you see the infield in at first and third. The 1-0 pitch on the way now to Rafael Santana. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's Lee Mazzilli in the on-deck circle. He'll bat for Terry Leach. Randy Myers has now joined Orozco. So if the Mets are still trailing, they'll bring in Myers. If they tie the game or take the lead, it'll probably be Orozco's game.
We've said it before, but on the road, you don't play that much for a tie. At home, you always play for the tie because you get your last bats.
Breaking ball missed. 2-1 on Santana. 1-0 Atlanta, top half of the 7th inning. Mets with their best scoring chance. Runners second and third, 1 out. They now have 7 hits in the ball game. here's Merle's 2-1 delivery. Missing ball 3. 3-1. Hit center field, and 2 runs are going to score. The New York Mets have taken a 2-1 lead. Well, that's just what we were talking about at the outset of the inning. When you finally grab a lead after such a long, scoreless stretch, you hope that you can at least hold it for an inning. The Braves have not. Rafael Santana, RBIs, number 26 and 27. It's 2-1 New York.
I think this was a breaking ball. It was. He hit it kind of off the end of the bat, but he got enough of it to get it in the center field. And Mazzilli was called back. You can see the throw by James, but McReynolds runs well. He just glides along. He's faster than you think. They take Mazzilli back and bring on Leach to hit because they've got a 1-run lead.
So Terry Leach, after the base hit by Rafael Santana, stays in the ball game. He's 0 for 2 at the plate, a fly to left and a strikeout. Braves looking for a bunt from him in this situation. 1 out, runner at first. Rafael Santana, who's having a good year offensively for the first time in his major league career, with 2 big RBIs for New York. Ball 1 the count on Terry Leach. Tommy Perlazo flashes the signs. Leach steps back in. The butt is toward first. Perry will go to Hubbard. Leach retired. Santana advances to second. And back to the top of the order now, Mookie Wilson. Wilson 0 for 3. He's flying to right, struck out, bounced to the pitcher. He'll wait for Terry Leach to come back. Boy, it is so frustrating when you're not scoring any runs, as the Braves have not been for the last couple of weeks. You finally grab a lead, and right away they bounce right back.
They've done it twice now. As you mentioned, once against the Cardinals the same way. What happened was Renicky hit the home run to tie it. In the very next inning, St. Louis picked up a couple of runs.
So the Braves will have to come from behind to pull this one out. Down 2-1 now. They're going to walk Mookie Wilson. Now, this surprises me unless Chuck Tanner's going to make a change, because of all the hitters on the New York Mets team, the one that's given Rick Mahler the most trouble is Wally Backman. And he's on deck, although Backman tonight has been retired twice in 3 at-bats.
He's not having a Backman year. Tim Tuffle has had a good year playing some second base. Knocked in over 20 runs.
So Chuck Tanner goes against that so-called book here. Although Mookie Wilson is having the better overall year, Wally Backman has been the guy that Rick Mahler just has not been able to get out. In his career, Backman hitting over 500 against Mahler lifetime. He's 1 for 3 tonight, a strikeout, a single, a ground out to first. Wilson at first, Santana at second. 2-1 Mets in the top of the 7th with 2 men out. Ball 1 to Backman. Caught the outside corner, 1-1. Wilson and Santana are your runners. Foul back. Mahler ahead in the count, a ball, 2 strikes. And Ossenbacher and the Braves bullpen ready if needed. The Mets bullpen quiet now. Leach has stayed in the ballgame. Down that left field line, but slicing foul. Still 1-2. Another 1-2 pitch due to Wally Backman. Up the middle, Wally Backman strikes again against Rick Mailer. Santana around third. He's going to score. 3-1, down to second on the throw. Home goes Backman. They got him there. Now the inning ends, but the run counts. You'll see this play again as we go out. The New York Mets have struck for 3. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. New York 3, Atlanta 1.
All good horse traders know horses. The best ones know cowboys, too.
He needs a little work, but the price is firm. He's worth it, but I'm a little short. Just pay me half now, and if I don't hear from you, he knows his way home.
Bush. Head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream.
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
My son, little sugar-sweetened Kool-Aid. Some picture, huh? Always striving to be better. Well, the other day he says, "Great news, Mom. Now I have 10% less sugar." What a good boy. 10% less sugar. Plus, he tastes great, so the kids adore him. Oh, I feel so good. Oh, wouldn't any mother?
New sugar-sweetened Kool-Aid drink mix. 10% less sugar with more fruity flavor for that great Kool-Aid taste.
Mom, I'm home. If only he'd learn to use the door.
You know how terrific that turkey sandwich tastes after Thanksgiving? Well, now you can enjoy a turkey sandwich that good any day of the year with Louis Rich sliced turkey. It's cooked and sliced for you. Delicious, up to 95% fat-free. It's naturally lean. So, for the ultimate turkey sandwich, you don't have to wait till after Thanksgiving. But you do have to wait till after math.
It took Louis Rich to make turkey so right.
Dynamite.
Braves versus Mets. 7:35 Eastern tomorrow night.
A big RBI for Wally Backman. We told you about his success against Rick Mailer. Wally Backman is now lifetime hitting .541. He is 20 for 37 against Rick Mailer. The Braves took a chance there. They walked Mookie Wilson to get to Backman. It backfired. 3-1 Mets, bottom of the 7th. There's Ernie.
Thank you, Professor. Albert Hall will be on to bat for Rick Mailer. Then we go to the top of the order with Deion James. Hall, a switch hitter, will bat lefty. Davy Johnson on his way out. Now, he might make a change right here. And I think he's going to. Davy Johnson, who needs 2 more wins to be the winningest manager in the history of New York Mets baseball. He has 338. Roscoe's trotting in. Gil Hodges had 339 wins as a manager. So Johnson is 1 away from a tie and 2 away from setting a record for a New York Mets manager. While Roscoe gets ready, we'll break away for this message.
This relief break is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol, because the pitcher isn't the only one at this ball game who needs some relief.
Soon this street will be teeming with people, tasting exotic foods from all over the world.
Thank you. Is it good?
Good and spicy.
Now Anne is about to experience a problem that's universal.
I've got heartburn. Can you beat that?
As a matter of fact, I can.
Pepto for heartburn?
Sure.
As Pepto coats, it soothes heartburn, as well as upset stomach and diarrhea.
I didn't know you could tongue her. I can't.
Pepto-Bismol, the one that coats, is the only one you need.
Superstar Summer continues with James Stewart, armed with vengeance and a six-shooter, The Man from Laramie. 10:15 Eastern on the Superstation Wednesday night.
Friday, Superstar Summer continues with William Holden and John Forsythe. Welcome to Fort Bravo, a prison camp where the hate between North and South still burns brightly. But what happens when these bitter enemies must fight together to survive? Escape from Fort Bravo, 8:05 Eastern on the Superstation Friday.
Orozco has 8 tosses when he comes in. Every relief pitcher has 8, and the umpire can count. And as soon as he completes those, we'll be ready to go. Orozco hasn't had a great year. And that's putting it mildly. It's funny. He has 11 saves, but his ERA is 5.56, and he's won 1, lost 6. Roger McDowell has 10 saves, and he was out for part of the year.
He didn't come back till late May. This is early in the ball game for Jesse Orozco, too. You don't usually see him till the 8th or 9th inning.
He might be trying to get him straightened out. There was even talk of Doug Sisk getting more opportunities in the save spot. He has saved 2 games. But Orozco has been a good New York Mets relief pitcher. He's had some super years. Albert Hall turns around now to bat righty. Braves need 2 to tie. There's a well-hit ball, backhanded by the shortstop Santana. What a play. Boy, you can't hit it any harder. Rafael Santana, smooth as silk at short. Throws out Albert.
Santana, one of the best defensive shortstops in the game. Good range, going toward the hole, and a very strong throwing arm. He got a lot on that throw to get Hall by a step.
Now Deion James. Here are the save numbers for Orozco in the last 4 years. 17 saves, 31 in 84, 17 and 21 saves. That's well hit to left center, but it's not going to carry over Mookie. He's got it one-handed. James has hit the ball hard tonight. He has 2 hits now in 4 tries, but they had him played perfectly. Quickly, 2 down on 2 hard-hit balls. Braves get that Adam ball. Now, Andres Thomas. Orozco's ERA, lifetime, coming into this year, 2.48. With 91 saves. Pitch to Thomas is a fastball over. Andres is grounded out, sacrificed, hit into a double play. The Bravos in trouble again. There's a bounce to the short. That is a 1, 2, 3 inning. We go to the 8th, 3-1 Mets.
We'll miss Jackie Gleason, his bluster and beautiful comedy so much. No more new movies, plays, or TV shows. So this week's People has very special coverage of our lovable, laughable comic genius. People traces Jackie's unique career from sleazy nightclubs to Ralph Cramden. Then Patty Duke's new book about her turbulent childhood and how unscrupulous managers took advantage of her in every way. Plus contradictory memories of Ollie North from his colleagues. This week, the late great one. People, that's what we're all about.
Hi, I'm Dennis Conner. Winning the America's Cup and bringing it back to America made us all very proud. While we were racing, a lot of little things made a difference. A little extra muscle, a little extra breeze when we needed it, and the refreshing little lift we got from Wrigley Spearmint Gum.
It's that little lift from Wrigley Spearmint Gum. It's that little lift, the cool, refreshing one. It's that little lift from Wrigley Spearmint Gum. It's that little lift from Wrigley Spearmint Gum.
At Wrigley Field this afternoon, Andre Dawson had already hit his 24th home run in the ball game. Eric Schau hits Dawson in the face with a high inside fastball. Rick Sutcliffe very upset. The Cubs bench empties. They go out after Eric Schau. In the usual typical baseball fight, a lot of pushing and shoving. Not much being done. Andre Dawson obviously hurt. In fact, he had to be taken to a hospital later to have his lip sewn up. He suffered a laceration over his lip.
There's Sutcliffe.
And it looks now like everything is calming down. They're tending to Dawson. Andre very slowly getting to his feet, and there he goes. He wants a piece of Eric Show, too. Despite his pain and discomfort, Andre Dawson was not very happy about that pitch. And then things started breaking out all over the place. Before the game was done, Eric Show takes off. I've had enough. He said, I want to get out of here. Get me back to that dugout. But we're still not through because they start chasing him over that way. Tony Gwynn has to step in and hold back Andre Dawson. They finally pull Andre away. He's taken to a hospital for lacerations. Before the game was over, 7 different members of the Chicago Cubs, including their manager, Gene Michael, and their acting manager after that, Johnny Oates, were ejected from the game. Cubs won at 7-5.
Martinez had hit a home run prior to the Dawson homering. Dawson had 2 homers yesterday. Here's Keith Hernandez. Braves got troubles of their own. Trailing 3-1, top of the 8th.
Wonder if the words holy cow were spoken at all during that brouhaha.
Good chance. A little bit high. Mailer went 7, allowed 9 hits, 3 runs, a couple of walks, and 6 strikeouts. Fouled away. Asemacher at 1-1, ERA 4.88, no saves. Stay with us, another game to follow. We'll have a break in between, about 20-25 minutes. And the same 2 teams tomorrow night before the Phillies come in on Thursday. The All-Star game is next Tuesday. That's at Oakland. And the Braves go on a road trip to the east. That's well hit. Center field. James is going to catch it just short of the track. Hernandez out. He's 0 for 4. But that ball is hit right on the nose. Here's Gary Carter. I believe Carter started his career as an outfielder. Big, strong guy. Might end up his career as a first baseman. Who knows? He's had problems throwing guys out this year. He is 2 for 3 in this first game. The pitch is outside. Toward Nettles. Toward Perry. 2 down. Now Darryl Strawberry, who gets a mixed reaction. Fans can read.
Yeah, he's seemingly been in the middle of just about every clubhouse controversy the Mets have had this year, and they've had a bundle of them. Darryl not very happy in New York. He's saying that when his contract runs out, he may go free agent and try to hook on somewhere else.
There'd only be about 25 other teams that would take him.
I don't know if they wouldn't take Tim Raines or Jack Morris.
Now we're talking about something else. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, the Mets might grant Darryl his wish before that time comes.
I'm talking more trade than free agent, because the free agency thing might be the same next winter. 1 and 2, and that means your best deal is sign with the ball club you're playing with. Dickie Thon wants to be a free agent. Houston shortstop just left the ball club, and he's forfeiting half his salary. The season's about half over, and he's making over $600,000 a year. He said, I'll be a free agent at the end of the year, and he's more or less said that he doesn't want to play again with Houston. Thon still with those eye problems. suffered from a beanie. That's hit high into the air in left center. Griffey or James, it'll be Griffey. That's a very easy top of the 8th for Paul Ottenbacher. The Braves got 2 innings to do something about a 3-1 lead, New York.
I'm thirsty for it, you know what I mean. Sweating in the sun, need something cool and clean. Yeah, thirsty for it, 93 in the shade. I'm thirsty for it, no one needs thirsty.
Nothing cuts through thirst like Gatorade Thirst Quencher. It feeds in fluids and minerals and supplies energy to working muscles.
I'm thirsty, thirsty, thirsty for that Gatorade. Gatorade is thirsty for that deep down body thirst.
Tomorrow is homecoming, and this campus will be filled with parents. But today, Jane's dad is coming home with a bad case of diarrhea.
I feel so weak.
Oh, let's get you into bed.
Tomorrow's homecoming.
You won't miss it.
The one he needs is Pepto-Bismol. As it coats, it soothes heartburn and upset stomach, as well as diarrhea.
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, me too, honey.
Pepto-Bismol, the one that coats, is the only one you need.
There's a whole new animal waiting for you. The 88 fuel-injected Chevy with more cab room than Ford or Dodge. The most powerful standard engine in half-ton pickups and up to 7 coats of rust protection topped by a new clear coat finish. The new full-size Chevy pickup. It's a whole new animal.
The heartbeat of America. That's the day Chevy truck.
This portion of Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Gerald Perry leads it off, bottom of the 8th. He is 1 for 3 with a stolen base. You heard the score. The Cubs 7, San Diego 5. Sanderson beat Shaw, but there were 5 homers hit in that ball game. There's a base hit in the center. Boy, did he hang out a line. Gerald Perry with a base hit brings a tying run to the plate. And it's Murphy. Martinez, Dawson, and Noche hit home runs for the Cubs today. Truck and Templeton for San Diego. Other scores, Philadelphia failed to score top of the first. Cincinnati now batting. San Francisco 2, Pittsburgh nothing after 1. Downs against Walk at Pittsburgh. A rain delay. The Dodgers at St. Louis. That's a doubleheader. White Sox in Baltimore scoreless after 1. Kansas City 1, Cleveland nothing after 1. And the Twins got 2 for Joe Niekro pitching against his former team, the Yankees, now batting at New York. Pitch to Murphy. Low. Viola shut out the Yanks last night. Minnesota Twins. Kind of the surprise of baseball. Perry off first. Murphy had a single and an RBI last time up. Got a home run taken away because of the rain last night. So did Jack Clark.
It's Roger McDowell.
Yeah. He's their second savior. He has 10 saves. Griffey on deck. There have been some balls hit hard off Orozco, but nothing to show for it yet. That's hit hard to the right. Perry makes the turn. Now he's going on a deep, and he is going to make it. Perry gave a little look over his shoulder, and I think Strawberry might have fallen for it. He might have said he's not going, but he went, and we've seen Perry do that several times this year.
Gerald has gotten some extra bases this year with some very intelligent base running. We've seen him take that turnaround first and slow down, then go down to second base and beat it. This time he gets to second base, takes the little slow down, look back over his shoulder, and then takes off after Strawberry has cut loose the throw toward second. Very good base running by Perry. First and third, nobody out for Ken Griffey.
You can deke an outfielder and you make him just drop his arms, you're going to pick up about 2 or 3 steps. It's amazing. This is Griffey with 2 on and nobody out. Curveball in there. There's some hard hit balls off Orozco, but so far the Braves still trail 3-1. They've got Perry at third and Murphy at first. Griffey batting. The 0-1. Bounce to first. Going for 2. They got 1 at second. 2 at first. A run scores. No RBI. It's 3-2. Griffey hits into a double play. Hernandez knew just what he was going to do all the way. He didn't care about the runner at third. He wanted a double play.
Theory on this one is don't worry about run number 2, but get that tying runner out of there and hope you can get the double play. And the Mets did. Very well executed. 3-6-3. 2 outs now. Bases empty. 3-2 the score.
Nettles with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th, and the pitch to him. The curve missed outside. Benedict on deck. Jim Acker throwing in the Braves bullpen. Roger McDowell throwing for New York. Well hit toward left center field. Back toward the wall goes Wilson. He's got it. Right against the wall. Nettles gave it a ride right to the wall in left center. Orozco survived. He's getting patted on the back by Gary Carter. The Braves scored a run, had hard hit balls, but still trail by 1 as we move to the 9th.
Don't win nothing for practice. Don't win nothing if you don't. Drew this one before. Kind of hoped it'd be the last time.
All right, let's have it.
That's right.
For who? After a long day of hard knocks, head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Busch.
Here, this one don't buck so hard.
Head for the mountains of Busch beer.
You ever heard of race car drivers running with the family car oil? These do. Winners like Jeff and Brett Bodine, Tim Richmond, and Darrell Waltrip. They use the same new Superflow 10W30 motor oil you can buy in stores. It has the special additive wear band that's super at blocking wear. Right, guys? Right! Good catch. You play football? No! Too dangerous! Want your engine to last? Go with the Flow. New Superflow.
Superstar Summer continues with James Stewart, armed with vengeance and a 6-shooter. The Man from Laramie. 10:15 Eastern on the Superstation Wednesday night.
There you see the numbers on Jim Acker. He becomes the 3rd pitcher used by Chuck Tanner. Ostenmacher pitched an inning. Ostenmacher went 1-2-3 against New York in the 8th. McReynolds hits it up the middle, base hit. Kevin McReynolds with his 2nd hit. He's now hit safely after tonight's game in 10 straight. Howard Johnson. 1 for 3. Another game to follow. And we close it out, this series, against New York tomorrow night. And then 4 games with the Phillies before the 3-day All-Star break. Howard Johnson likes this situation where he can pull the ball. They're holding the runner.
Tell you what, he's going to deliver on a promise. Back in spring training, Howard Johnson said to the media, "You let me play every day, I'll hit you 20 home runs." A lot of players wouldn't make statements like that, but he's going to do it. He's got 16 already, the most he's ever hit in 1 year. He'd never hit more than 12 before in 1 year.
Some of us in the media probably said pshaw on you. He has delivered. It's the old give me a chance to play every day rather than platoon. McDowell, he might be in there in the bottom of the ninth after those rockets hit off Orozco. Let's see who's coming up for Atlanta. Right-handed batters, but we might see a pinch hitter. You feel that Ted Simmons will bat in that bottom of the ninth somewhere. Benedict's due up first, then Hubbard, then the pitcher. Well hit to center. I don't know if James can catch up to it. It's over his head off the wall. They may have a play at the plate. Here comes a throw. He's going to be safe. McReynolds shows you that he can run. Scored all the way from first, and that wasn't a bad relay. James to Thomas to Benedict.
You'll see the relay here was very well executed by the Braves. Andres Thomas throwing a strike to Bruce Benedict, and Benedict takes a little punishment here. He's got the plate blocked, and the ball and McReynolds arrive at just about the same time, but McReynolds had just gotten that foot in before the tag was applied. The Braves execute well here, but they trail now by 2 again as McReynolds comes all the way around on the double by Howard Johnson. And a third look. Almost, but not quite.
Benedict's not afraid to stick his nose in there. He's been in many a collision. Look at this. A broken bat popped to right. They'll hold Johnson. They can do no wrong here in the last couple of innings. Santana reaching out, popped it over first. And New York has runners at first and third. So Jim Acker hasn't been a mystery here in the top of the ninth, and they're trying to put it away. They lead 4-2 with nobody out. Is Mazzilli coming out? I believe that is Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli, a pinch hitter for Orozco. Mac Williams getting ready. Mazzilli, a switch hitter with runners on the corners. He's batting .354. He has 2 homers and 16 RBIs. He started his career with the Mets years ago, and they thought he was really going to have a super career. He's had just a fair career. He's moved around to several ball clubs. A little bit high. Mazzilli's played in both leagues. Runners first and third. Santana at first, Johnson at third. Low. Orozco through for the night. 2-0 pitch. High 3-0. Braves in trouble here in the ninth, trailing 4-2. Orozco allowed 1 run in his 2 innings. He might swing at this if he likes it. He did, and Hubbard grabs it, coming home. Throw it away. A run in. It's not a good throw, but I don't think a good throw would have had it.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is just frustration on the Braves' part. They're trying anything, trying so desperately to keep themselves in the ball game. Hubbard, even though he really didn't have much of a play there, going to his left, comes up that he had an easy play at first base. He elects to go home, unable to come up with a good throw, but I don't even know if a good throw gets him.
Mookie Wilson with runners at first and second, still nobody out. 2 runs have scored. It's now 5-2. 0-1. No error was charged on that last play, just a fielder's choice and give Mazzilli an RBI. Official score feeling the same way, that even a good throw doesn't have him. Oh, and 2. The Mets got 3 in the 6th. Santana is at second and Mazzilli at first. One ball and strike. Backman's on deck. One ball, 2 strikes, right? And a pitch. Out in front. Benedict hurrying. Late. Mookie Wilson showed his speed. That'll be an infield hit. When it rains, it pours. I'm not talking about the tarp.
Just a little dribbler down the first base line. Benedict didn't spot it right away. Just a little bit slow getting out of the box. Wilson beat it easily. Mookie with the best speed really of anybody on this Mets team. He got across that bag in a hurry.
Now Wally Backman. He is 2 for 4 with a big hit in the 7th, knocking in a run. The bases are loaded. Atlanta now down by 3. Still nobody out. Two balls and no strikes. The Mets now with 13 hits. Braves have 6. Check that. The Braves have 8 hits. Fouled away. Two and 1. Chuck Tanner looking on, knowing that another base hit going to put this one out of reach. It's bad enough right now. 3-run deficit. Double play, coming home to first. Not in time. Backman with his speed from that left side beat it. Looked like it might be a double play ball. They did get the runner at the plate.
It's hit right at Andres Thomas. I think he was more concerned about the accuracy of the throw home. He didn't get an awful lot on the throw home. Just kind of floats it home. If he had a little more on that throw, they might have gotten the double play.
Chuck Tanner out now to make the pitching change. Hernandez is a batter. Acker's being lifted. Larry McWilliams is coming on. Score remains 5-2 with that force at the plate. Hernandez is due, and that's why McWilliams is coming on. All right, while he warms up, we'll break for this commercial.
When it comes to autofocus cameras, some give you part of the action, but Canon EOS gives you all of the action. When it's so dark that some can't focus, EOS doesn't miss a trick. And Canon EOS has computers and motors in every lens for fast focus. So great shots are easy and so creative, the competition is out of the picture. EOS, more than autofocus, easier than ever. Canon, the official camera of the Atlanta Braves.
We load and unload a lot of bags at Delta. It's hard work, but I like it. This bag here isn't mine, but I take care of it like it is. And I try real hard to get it to you just as fast as I can. I'm proud of my job, and I'm proud of Delta. And you know what? When you feel that way, you just naturally take care.
Delta, get you there. We get you there with care.
Larry Williams becomes the fourth pitcher used by Chuck Tanner. Give Acker a third of an inning. Given up 2 runs so far. We're going the lefty-lefty route here. McWilliams against Keith Hernandez. Mazzilli, Wilson, and Backman are out on the bases. They're full of New York Mets. Got a good crowd here tonight. Fine night doubleheader. We have met many. This is the first of the year. Hernandez wearing a 4 collar tonight, 0 for 4. You don't like those odds, do you? Strike called, 0-1. Grounded out, hit into a double play, struck out and flied to deep center. He's looking for a pitch up where he can at least get a sacrifice fly. That's a sac fly. Might be more. James at the wall. Coming in easily to score is Mazzilli. Another run in, that makes it 6. He hammered that ball to the long part of this park. Over to third went Mookie. Backman held on at first. And the batter is Gary Carter, the 8th batter in this inning. Three runs in at 6-2. Larry Mack with the pitch. Swung on, missed, 0-1. McDowell continues to throw in their bullpen. He will pitch the bottom of the ninth. You can see him still loosening. Doesn't take too much to get loose today. Temperatures were around 90 during the day. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ron Darling pitches the second game, and Randy O'Neal goes for Atlanta. Little pop. Benedict may have a play. Let's watch. Yes. Nice catch, Bruce Benedict. But it might be too late. As we go to the bottom of the ninth, it's 6-2, New York.
Checks out fine. Everything's okay. It takes a lot of teamwork at Delta to give you the best service. And as a mechanic, I make sure everything's ready to go. All with one thing in mind, a safe, comfortable flight. Hey, Bob, we take a lot of pride in what we do. I like working on our airplanes, and I sure love working for Delta.
Delta, get you there. We get you there.
This is just a flat old tater chip. It's just flat. It's just tater. It's just an old chip, but not this. Is a new Cajun spice ruffle potato chip. Look at them ridges full of cayenne pepper, onion, garlic, paprika. Oh, this is Cajun spice. Ain't nothing flat about it.
Try new Cajun Spice Ruffles brand potato chips with a feisty, spicy bite in every crunch. It's the new taste that won't leave you flat.
Oh, boy, they want them without guarantee.
Hi, I'm Dennis Conner. Winning the America's Cup and bringing it back to America made us all very proud. While we were racing, a lot of little things made a difference. A little extra muscle, a little extra breeze when we needed it, and the refreshing little lift we got from Wrigley Spearmint Gum.
Wrigley Spearmint Gum is that little lift. The cool, refreshing one is that little lift. Wrigley Spearmint Gum is that little lift. Wrigley Spearmint
Here's McDowell in search of his 11th save. The DRA is high for him. He's been a good pitcher for New York. But he hasn't been here all year. He was on a disabled list early in the season. Benedict leads it off. McDowell kind of comes right at you. In other words, hit it if you can.
He's got a sinker ball that he never had until he had an elbow operation. In the minor leagues, he had an elbow operation. Came back the following year, and all of a sudden, everything he threw had a natural sinking motion to it, which it didn't have before.
Big year last year. 14 wins, 9 losses, and 22 saves. That's over third for Benedict. Going to be a single. Johnson got a glove on it. Benedict's got a single. Now Hubbard. Hubbard has walked, grounded out twice. Benedict at first is now 1 for 2. He walked a couple of times. Ted Simmons grabs a bat. He will hit for the pitcher. Outside. McDowell can't pick up a save. The lead is too great. It's 4 runs. If it were 3 or less, he could pick up a save in his appearance.
Well, they're at it in Cleveland. That game being delayed by a bench-clearing brawl. Willie Wilson knocked down by a Ken Schramm pitch during his at-bat, and he charged the mound.
I think it's become a macho thing where the batter says, you throw at me, I'm going to come after you. We've seen just so much of it. 2 balls and 1 strike. A hit to right field. Hubbard got that off the end of the bat. Somehow worked it through. And the Braves have 2 on and nobody out.
There you'll see that.
Sinking motion on the McDowell pitch. Hubbard really went down and got it.
Right off the end of the bat, but enough to get it through into right field. So the first 2 runners aboard here in the bottom of the 9th, and that's what the Braves need. Some base runners, and then somebody to hit one out.
James is on deck. It's a 4-run lead for New York. Fastball high. 1-0. The Braves had cut it to a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 8th. Fly ball center. I don't know. Can anybody catch up? Santana can. Wilson, playing deep, wouldn't have been able to make that catch. Rafael Santana makes it 1 out. If New York hadn't scored in the top of the 9th. There's a lot of ifs in a game of baseball. As Marla used to say, if your Aunt Minnie had a mustache, she'd be your Uncle Fred. You just don't know what's going to happen. There's a good shot of that sinker, Pete. That ball really went down.
And he really has no explanation for it. He just said that he came back from that surgery after having decent minor league records year after year, and all of a sudden he had that pitch.
It's a great pitch for a relief pitcher because you need ground balls. The Braves with 10 hits tonight scored only 2 runs. James hit safely his first 2 times up, a single, double, then he walked and flied to center. This time he grounds it to Hernandez, who gets it to the pitcher on time. 2 away. And the game of baseball becomes more frustrating for number 7 and his team. Here's Andres Thomas. Hubbard's at second base. Benedict is at third. Pitch to Thomas. Look at that ball go down. And that's a natural sinker. That has no foreign substance on it. 0-1. Don't forget, another game to follow. We'll have about a 20-minute break or so. We'll send you back to CNN headline news and then back to the ballpark. Carter is going to let it roll foul. Randy O'Neal.